the average homeowner is not a construction expert, right?
Right.
So they can't tell the difference, and a lot of people, they buy those homes which, been remodeled, but behind the walls they don't know the quality that's being done.
That's
Right.
right.
Right? So, a lot of times, we remodel some of those, homes that's being purchased, and you open the walls and you see, it
Not
was,
great.
yeah, they didn't get, because like those, they buy it from like flippers, right? Somebody flipped the property, right? Or let's say they didn't put enough, emphasis on, because they know they're not going to live in it. When you build it for yourself, like you guys, you're going to live in it.
Right.
You're going to spend a little bit more extra money to make it right. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying?
2002, and the house was built in 1924.
24.
And it was
wow.
an old Tudor style house. It was
Right.
remodeled like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, really?
We
Okay,
first
and when-
remodeled it when we moved in 2002.
I learned my lesson. That was a mistake.
Exactly. So that's why, because a lot of people, they kind of have that debate, right? Should I remodel versus new construction? Obviously, a lot of people, try to go with the remodeling route, or, initially
Right.
because it's cheaper, right? They're gonna, obviously,
Yeah, yeah.
it's much less
Right,
expensive.
right.
But what a lot of people don't know, that it's actually remodeling, it's much more difficult.
That's right.
Right.
Much more time consuming.
Well, and you open up a wall and you find problems in the
And you
wall.
find a lot of stuff.
Right.
So we are basically in 2-car garage. That's kind of a very straightforward, traditional approach.
Right.
Regardless if the house it's modern or the style of the property, it's kind of very kind of traditional to obviously to place the garage in the front. So one tip for clients in general, if you have the garage in the back, always try to especially if it's new construction, it's going to be difficult if it's a remodel to obviously switch the garage from the back to the front. But a lot of time, sometimes, you can kind of create, an addition to the house, even if it's a remodel. But, hopefully it's new construction and you can redesign the entire space and have the garage in the front. Right.
Right, exactly.
So it's because like having the garage in the back, I mean, unfortunately, if you have to do it because of CD limitations or building codes limitation,
Right.
I mean, sometimes you have to do it, but for the most part, it's just reducing the value of the property.
Right.
So that's another thing. When you work on those plans and designs, you need to know what the city and the building department
Right.
expect, right? That's also important, obviously, for the owners or somebody wants to remodel, do new construction, to get the right suggestion and have the right planning, because a lot of times when it's not being designed by the builder, like we do design and build, right? So we build what we design. And sometimes you work with the individual designer or individual architect, but sometimes, if the designer don't really understand what the city requests or what the building department requests, you might have changes. And
Right.
then, you know
and
what I'm
then that
saying?
will cause delays.
It causes delays, it causes
Right.
like additional costs, but it's also very important to design, with a perspective in mind that we know for sure that it's possible, to kind of execute.
Right.
And that's kind of a big deal, right?
Right.
The Bay Area, for example, for the viewers, because obviously, we have offices right now in Santa Monica, in Newport Beach, and of course in Silicon Valley, in Palo Alto. In the Bay Area, a lot of the properties, they don't have any home automation.
Really?
We were one of the few that started to implement a lot of those home automations,
Wow.
like systems. And believe it or not, sometimes I bring vendors from LA and I cut costs by 50%, because the Bay Area, if you have one or two home automation vendors, they're so expensive because they're so busy. So I get, the ones from LA sometimes, and that's kind of another way for me to bring more value to our clients. But the point is, if I can bring to my clients more value, right? More expertise, more value, actually save the money, I become free to my clients. So what I do sophistically, obviously we have an in-house design team, so we have an in-house construction team, but sometimes we use vendors, like for
Right.
home automation, for
Right.
like flooring or HVAC. You need to have like different vendors that have different licenses and different trades.
Right.
And sometimes, I have even better experienced vendors that's coming from LA, perform the project and go back, right? But the client saves sometimes millions. If I can bring something, unique to the table, if I can bring something special to the table, right? Save the money, and initially just create something unique and special to our clients. That's kind of my goal. You know what I'm saying? Not just to do a job, just to get the job done,
Right.
so to speak. And that's why clients that work with us, they're not looking for the best price. They're not looking for the estimate. They're looking for the value, the experience, and creating something special, for them and their family. That's
Absolutely.
the most important thing that we're focusing on, all right?
Right.
Like, I'm looking at the details that people usually kind of overlooked. You know what I mean? That can give you a lot of bang for your buck if you buy a property like that, or if you live in a property like that. You guys definitely made the right choice when to start from scratch and just
There's no surprises.
yeah, you perfect the foundation. I mean, framing. I mean, when you do those type of remodels, again, there is so much to deal with. You know what I'm saying? It's like working on that too that already had like 3
Been there,
root
done that.
canals.
Yeah.
Right.
And trying to do another root canal. I mean,
Yes, exactly.
you know what I mean, right, David?
You're speaking to the choir.
You have to pull the tool out, right? You have to pull the tool out. You have to do it. Just start from scratch, guys, Unfortunately, you're always gonna get that builder that's gonna, gonna sell you pizza if you want pizza.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna give you whatever you want, right? So some people don't understand sometimes they, you get an estimate, you get proposal, but you don't know, you can't compare, because you don't know what you're comparing.
Right.
But it sounds good and it sounds doable and you're almost looking for a fairy tale that's gonna tell you, yes, we can do it. When somebody actually tell you no, but showing you a better way, the right way, because in the long run, right? You want to save money in the long run,
Right,
in the short
exactly.
run.
It's renovation or full remodel.
By the way, I always see myself partially as a dentist, by the way.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, developer, a contractor, it's almost kind of like in the same round.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
You're opening walls,
Right, exactly, that's true.
Right? You're always
Right.
finding new surprises,
Right,
right?
that's
So it's
true.
kind of very similar, you know what I mean?
Right,
And
that's
it's
a
almost
good-
like, finding a builder to trust, it's almost like finding a dentist to trust.
Right.
You
Right.
know, it's
And,
kind
we,
of the same
and we have
experience.
subcontractors also. We bring in the perio, we bring in the surgeon.
Exactly, right? Unfortunately, a lot of people sometimes they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to know that things are costing that much or that it's going to take that much time, and they prefer to hear something that's not really the reality. But then, you start construction, you start design, and things change, and cost increase, timeline increase. So for me, I'm telling them straightforward from the beginning.
Right.
That's the cost. That's the timeline.
Right.
And if you like it or not, hopefully they like it, or hopefully
Right.
they like me,
Right.
but I want to give them the reality. So when you're very transparent, then, the person kind of either appreciate it or is looking for a fairy tale that's going to tell them another story.
Right.
But the terminology design and build is being abused because you have, again, those type of project managers, salespeople that go into people and say, yes, we're doing design and build. And they hook you up with the designer, and they hook you up with the architect, but they don't have experience to lead all those people that you
Right,
just
right,
mentioned.
right.
So who knows if things going in the right way or
Right,
not? If
right.
you don't have the
Right, you
experience,
don't know.
you're just writing down the check,
Right.
the guy collecting the check, and again, he got a nice smile, he give you a nice hug, but who knows if something need to be changed? You know how much backhand stuff we're doing that we don't even have the clients involved
Right, I
in the
understand.
day-to-day operation,
Yes.
like minor stuff that
Right.
you're catching.
Right.
That and you know how many times I push and push the vendors and all those like actors,
Yes.
right? And all those trades, I push them to to do certain things that could have done, faster or could have done in a better way. But again, everything from value engineering perspective, and you have to understand all those things. I'm doing it for 22 years now. Work with Moses, we'll give you the right advice, we'll give you the right suggestion, we'll increase the value of your property. Okay, it's not just about, I know you're gonna live in the property for the next 20 years, and it's gonna be a forever home,
Right.
and you're gonna grow beautiful children, but try to increase the value of the property. Sometimes spending a little bit extra on the right feature will give you a lot of more value in the long run.